Tonight on Q2, a storm is brewing in the Crazy Mountains.
Dollar for dollar, we're not getting the same deal.
And there had been a lot of controversy. There had been really a need to look for resolution.
From land to water, controversy reigns supreme, including at one of the most scenic destinations.
I mean, is that really the model of Montana? It's like a new feudalism.
We'll hike deep into these mountains where a remote and private cabin is drawing public outcries. The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us out here in Montana's Crazy Mountains. I'm Andrea Lutz. It's one of the most iconic and dramatic sites in the state. It's also the scene of a high-stakes land deal stirring division over what's public versus private.
The deal was finalized in January. The Crazy Mountain Land Exchange swaps 10 Forest Service parcels for 11 private ones, adding over 2,200 acres of public land near the Crazy Mountains in Madison Range. The Yellowstone Club, a key Montana stakeholder, called the agreement an honor to be a part of, highlighting how it unlocks and consolidates 30 miles of public land into one block and creates a new 40-mile looped trail.
Opponents of the land deal say it's going to open the gates for private development. However, the Forest Service defends the deal, saying if anything, it's going to open up more public access. Tonight, we look at both sides as opponents and proponents go head to head.
High in the Crazy Mountains.
You know, they're very sacred to many of us.
The past still shapes the present.
Basically, I'm born and raised here in Montana, 5 generations.
For Brad Wilson, these peaks are home.
But my grandfather over on the west side, he did a lot for the loggers over there. And doggone, I got to tell you this, he also ran moonshine on those trails.
But he says the future looks nothing like the past.
It's our rich man's playground, and we are not even allowed to hunt here hardly anymore. It's getting tougher and tougher.
As founder of Friends of the Crazy Mountains, he opposes the East Side Land Exchange.
We're losing the sweetgrass access point, which is critical. This new trail they're proposing is not for hunters. It's for, I'm going to say it publicly, it is for mountain biking, and it's engineered as such. I know they're going to disagree with that, but you can look at the fine print and see as well.
With 40 years at the U.S. Forest Service,
See, I was 47 when I arrived here.
Mary Erickson brings a different perspective.
When we take on a land exchange, we don't say, is this in the interest of the landowner, and therefore it's compelling. We say, is there enough public interest in this? I love that country.
After 2 land swaps on the west and south sides, Mary turned her focus east.
In the sweetgrass drainage, the access is exactly as it is now. That has been permissive since the 70s. So people may be frustrated that the Forest Service didn't defend that, but that ship sailed decades ago.
Before retiring, she saw the Yellowstone Club smooth negotiations in the Crazies, while also expanding its Big Sky footprint.
They had the time then to meet with all the landowners together. They also then had a property with Smeller Lake, and in this exchange, they donated that parcel.
Wilson sees the club's involvement as a problem, especially after its owner surprised many by buying up the Crazy Mountain Ranch on the west side.
We were told, too, that they had no interest in developing this. Really? How come we got a new golf course? How come we got new buildings being built? We got new lodges being built, putting an airstrip in. You're telling me they're not going to develop this? They already are.
For Mary, opening access and reducing conflict is the very definition of progress.
The Crazies has a long history of how the Forest Service and neighbors have worked together, and also a long history of disputes about access and management between the Forest Service and private landowners, and sometimes between the public and private landowners.
But Wilson fears of what comes next.
And folks, we're fighting an issue that's going every day. We're losing pieces and pieces and pieces. Every day as we're talking right now, we're losing. Somebody rich is throwing gates up.
2 people bound by the same mountains, but divided over how to protect them.
Part of the controversy with the land swap in the Crazy Mountains is the involvement with the Yellowstone Club. It's a private resort in Big Sky backed by billionaires and celebrities with a long history of land swaps. And now the Crazy Mountain Ranch is under some new scrutiny and legal troubles. as it navigates how to irrigate its new golf course.
The ranch drew backlash in Big Timber after the city agreed to sell it 100,000 gallons of water a day for a new golf course. The deal was later scrapped, and the ranch is now hauling water from Boulder 2 hours away. A consent decree with the DNRC now lets that ranch irrigate while the agency reviews a water use change application. But it follows a cease and desist order accusing the ranch of illegally watering the course. Construction on that 112-acre course began in 2023.
Nowhere is the tension more visible in the Crazy Mountains than Twin Lakes. It's been a long escape for hikers and backpackers up remote in this range, but just recently a house began rising on the eastern shore, and Kagan Harsha hiked up there recently to see it.
Yeah, Andrea, it's about a 5-mile hike up to Twin Lakes. Absolutely beautiful. It's in the middle of nowhere. You feel like you're getting away from it all, but then suddenly there's this cabin up there on the lake shore. Certainly a different experience. It's only 1 bedroom. It's small, but it's the concept, the idea that has so many people concerned.
They tower majestically over the plains, beckoning visitors to explore.
They're one of the most rugged mountain ranges and one of the most amazing places.
But to learn exactly why so many are crazy about the Crazies, you have to get your feet dirty.
They still have that wild call and lots of stream.
My son and I hit the trail on a recent Friday. Our destination, Twin Lakes.
Twin Lakes is the very heart of the wild Crazies.
We made the 5-mile climb to see why some fear this piece of paradise may be losing some of its luster. And once we arrived, we couldn't miss it.
You can't stand at the lake and look to the left and not see it.
A 1-room log cabin perched upon the lake's east shore.
To me, it's a bummer to see the cabin up there because I was always taught, leave no trace.
Tyler Cottrell has been hiking here the last 8 years and could only watch as the forest gave way to a foundation.
The thing for me is that it takes the wild out of the wilderness.
It starts to set a precedent.
John Gatchell has watched the cabin's construction with concern. Gatchell spent his career advocating for wild places with the Montana Wilderness Association and Wild Montana.
That it's just the beginning of the erosion and the loss of the public values that are there, of the wildness of that place that makes it special.
The cabin, built on one of the Crazy Mountains' private in-holdings, is the first permanent structure to be built in the heart of this wilderness. On this day, no one was home, but the cabin is owned by David Lucian, the co-founder of a private equity firm and formerly with Goldman Sachs. In 2012, Lucian purchased the Lazy K Bar Ranch at the foot of the Crazies. He also owns the infamous Switchback Ranch, one of the largest cattle ranching operations in the Northern Rockies at 160,000 acres. We repeatedly reached out to Lucian, but our calls and emails were not returned.
It used to be that it was nice, they could build a big house with a view of the mountains. And now there's this effort to possess our mountains, even a special place like the Crazy Mountains. That's not something for one person, that's something for all of us. It's a symbol of what we fear, the privatization of our wildest public lands, yeah.
Wild and also breathtakingly beautiful, smack dab in the middle of this stunning state that we all call home.
It's as beautiful as any national park in the world.
Kagan Harsha, MTN News.
There's plenty of other voices to hear surrounding this issue, and you're going to hear it all during our half-hour special, Lines Drawn in the Crazies, which airs at 9:30 Saturday night. We hope you can tune in. Again, that's Saturday, August 23rd, right before the MTN 10 o'clock news. There's much more to cover out here in the Crazy Mountains, but for now, we'll head back to the Q2 studios to meteorologist Jason Stiff.
Our weather certainly isn't as crazy, pun intended, as it could be this time of year. Certainly a lot cooler. We had that cold front push overhead, so fewer clouds for most areas, but there are still parts of southeastern Montana and northern Wyoming. We have some clouds, some isolated showers, and a few thunderstorms. Had a few more of them earlier today over east central Montana. Now just some lingering clouds, mainly between Cook City and Red Lodge. Also some showers and storms trying to push over Sheridan. Had some over Warland earlier, but not much rain has been falling, just some gusty wind here and there. So keep my eye on some other changes going forward. We're going to have fewer clouds, but more areas of haze overnight tonight. More sunshine. That's going to be smoky sunshine on Friday. Your 7-day forecast coming up soon.
Yellowstone County Commissioners are set to cut funding to the YAM by 77%. Last year, the Yellowstone Art Museum received $188,000 from the county, but commissioners are expected to vote to cut that in September to $50,000. Commissioners say they'll instead use that money for hail damage repairs to the Huntley Museum and for public safety.
It's very disheartening and very disappointing that we no longer can rely on that stable funding, especially in a facility that was the old Yellowstone County Jail.
Those are the priorities of keeping our citizens safe and tightening our belts in other areas to ensure that those budgets are getting what they need.
The county is also trimming its travel budget as well as some of the funding to the Big Sky Economic Development, with that money set to go for jail expansion. Montana Senator Tim Shee says he's leading a push to stop what he calls Russia's predatory trade practices in the palladium market. It comes after we reported Stillwater mine families say they feel forgotten 9 months after the mine laid off more than 700 workers. All of Montana's congressional delegation sent a letter to President Trump urging an immediate 50% tariff on Russian palladium imports. The delegation argues tariffs are needed now to protect American workers and keep the nation from relying on Russian-controlled palladium.